end of the day, lower the dust exposure in the nation's mines. And in part of that, what's on the table is looking at lowering the Pell as part of that whole process. And what I'm saying is that a reasonably minded person, in understanding this dust issue, cannot just pick out one or two of those. Say, we're going to do that. And I have a personal obligation to fix this problem. I've been working on it for 30 years, and when I walked away from it, I want to have comfort in my mind that I did everything that I could to have a program in place that really fixes this, and that miners coming into the industry and miners who work that day forward does not have to worry about getting this disease. And I know in my own mind to do that, we have to look at this whole range of things. Other things that has to be taken into consideration as part of this is the application of the silica standard. Right now, if you have a certain amount of silica, you readjust the standard. So 2 milligram standard in some mines may be 0.7, maybe 1.2. It's not a straight across the board 2 milligram. And how you deal with that within the confines of this, it has to be figured out, regardless of what the bottom number is.
Joe, you mentioned that reducing the permissible exposure limit is one of the possible things, but your agency already has on its regulatory agenda an item that says you will, by April 2011, propose a rule to lower that limit. Are you backing off of that, or are you committed to that? Or
okay. I think it would be. I do not want this message left as this agency is backing off of lowering the dust levels in coal mines. That is exactly wrong. And what I'm saying is that you have two folks that are now in that agency that has worked on reforming this dust program. I've had 30 years working on it. Dr. Wagner's had 30 years. And we've had other people that have had a chance to look at this. We're going to use the value of everything that we've understood to do what's right at the end of the day for coal miners. And if somebody wants to say that, they're not going to do this 1 milligram, I think in all fairness you have to say, but here's why at the end of the day, if you had a rule to come out that may or may not be 1 milligram, here's why, okay?
So it's possible that at the end of the day, the item that's on the regulatory agenda now saying that MSHA will lower the PEL, it's possible that at the end of the day you may decide that that's not the right direction to go, and that a number of other steps would result in lowering exposure without lowering the PEL?
Okay, Ken, I'm gonna sort of like turn the tables here a little bit, just sort of like throw a curiosity question out. The new assistant secretary came in, and I was confirmed in October the 22nd, and my control of the agency took place that day. I have 30 years of experience. Wagner has 30 years of experience, and in looking at this, with that experience, some may say that we need to take a deeper look at what we're doing here to come out right. And in doing that, it may look a little different, but better than what the approach was. So I'm not here to say, we're not going to do 1 milligram, we're going to do 1 milligram. I'm saying everything is on the table here, and we're going to make decisions on in the best interest of miners.
There's also an advance notice of proposed rulemaking that was already put out on the issue of continuous dust monitors.
There's actually 2 rules that's moving right now.
Yes. And back in 1999, 2000, you testified at public hearings on MSHA's proposals then, saying that technology was ready right then. It was ready. One of your major criticisms of the Clinton administration rules proposal was that it didn't include continuous dust monitors. Yeah. If those were ready then to be put into the mines, why does your agency have to start over now with an advance notice of proposed rulemaking?
Well, if you look back at what we were looking back in 1999, and I had documentation from 2 agencies that basically supported the view that the continuous dust monitors that was moving forward at the time could be utilized. And, and this was their decision to say, no, we're not going to do the rule. Based on the information I had at that time and where I thought the science was at, and I believe that if we're going to have a rule, that is going to deal with sampling, we should put it in there. I believe, and I got to be careful what I say about what the rulemaking is, but my mind hasn't changed on that, okay? What happened is, on the way to the forum, as the saying goes, the testing of that device that we were looking at the time sort of lost favor by a lot, including myself. And the reason it is it did not work the way that we had thought it would work. We had problems with it. The other thing had changed is that that device was designed to operate on a continuous monitor. When I was part of the mining, I was part of the group that urged the development of the black box back in 1996. In 1996, we had the miner on the seat of a continuous miner, exposed basically about where that canopy was at. Today's mining, I think 90-some% of the mines or the continuous miners now operate remote control. So the miner is back here. So the dust concentrations there does not represent, like it did back in the 1970s, the exposure. So there's this strategy, let's move off of that onto this continuous dust monitor. And I finally took a look at it and said, you know, if we really want to nail down the miner exposure, we really need to do that. So the efforts and research changed from, we scrapped the work on the one that wasn't going to work, and we all sat down and said, we're putting our money on this one. We got everybody on board, the BCOA, NMA, NIOSH, MSHA, and as we speak now, there's a commercial device that's available. That device has been declared through the work that we did to develop it and work that I was on at the time to help design tests and so on, to have been declared to be a device that measures as accurately as the current device and is durable to work in the mine environment and is now commercially available. What hasn't happened here is getting through the second thinking about how we use this. If you looked back, Ken, back in the year 2000, we were looking at a machine-mounted device that had a lot less utility and versatility of how we could use it versus a one that we built into the miner's cap light that could be used. Okay.
Excuse me, Joe. I think she needs her mic back.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I
that's right.
drive back to Kentucky to wait.
So